so much for that. Bringing simplicity and common sense to this Where's Wally world of digital. I'm also getting very abreast with digital now, but I must say I believe in balance. I'm also very glad that I didn't mention the other naked insight, because now no one will ever know. Our next speaker before lunch is Grant Pereira. So Grant is a brand director for Carling Black Label within the AB InBev SA Brewery stable. He's a friend of our agency as well, although not a client. So just some insight on Grant. He spent the first half of his career being an accountant, tying up numbers to spreadsheets. So that's great. Catherine Madley, I think we won one sort of accountant over to the creative side. But in his heart, he was a secret creative wanting to be unleashed on a major brand, but being scared to make the career change. And in his 40s, he actually, after running the Comrades Marathon, he realized he could achieve just about anything, and he went to Andrea, and he actually pitched for this job of managing this brand, which he's doing an amazing job with. He says it's the scariest thing he's ever done, second only to bringing his first child into the world during water birth. So I don't know the feeling, but I know the feeling of childbirth, Grant. That's amazing. So Grant is here to deliver his keynote on whether purpose pays and asked to please not be awakened.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for giving us the opportunity to share Carling Black Label's journey of purpose marketing. Purpose marketing is an often abused term and not clearly understood. And I'm going to try today to leave you with 3 messages. That purpose marketing pays, purpose marketing is important, and purpose marketing can change the way your organizations run themselves. At AB InBev, we are united in the belief that brands are a store of future profit. Therefore, you must invest now to secure and grow tomorrow's bottom line. Too often, marketing has been consigned to the realm of functional advertising, where price is the main communicated message. However, in today's world, ideas of value and quality are ideas that are based on thoughts, on thinking, on the way people feel about brands. To give you some context, Carling Black Label is the biggest beer brand in South Africa. In fact, 1 in 4 of every beers drunk today will be a Carling Black Label. Every month, 5 million people interact with our brand. We sell it literally in every single part of the country. So that gives us a huge responsibility and a tremendous privilege to stand for something that matters in society, to stand for something that will make a difference in our consumers' lives. And we do that because the future is uncertain. It's exciting, but certainly uncertain, excitingly uncertain. And we want to give people the idea of what does that future look like. You know, as marketers and as people who are custodians of brands, our job is to fill that white space between today's reality and tomorrow's future. And so with Carling, we look at the intersection of culture, consumers, and category. Firstly, culture. We need to understand, as marketers, the mega trends existing in society today. From a category perspective, especially relevant to us from SA Breweries, the ideas of the concept of monopoly beer is gone. There are more drinks products on our shelves than ever before, and we are competing not only for different tastes and different occasions, we're competing for different ideas. And finally, from a consumer perspective, we need to understand the values that are driving society today. What is this world that our consumers are living in? And more importantly, what is that world that they want to live in? From a culture perspective, we've got 6 megatrends that influence the way we think. The first is that younger consumers want to accumulate experiences, not things. And this is also because younger consumers, all consumers, but particularly that cohort of under 30 men and women who are the critical mass for marketing and growing brands in any market, they are wanting brands to stand for causes they believe in or causes they experience themselves. And of course, authenticity is always going to be in vogue. We saw that by putting a flower down the barrel of a gun, you're not going to sell more soft drinks. In fact, you're going to alienate people. We then believe that fluidity in identity is a critical factor to understand in our markets. No longer are our consumers straitjacketed by these notions of gender, by location, by religion. We know that with network lives, and we've spoken about a lot today, with network lives, brands have access more than any other time in history to consumers. And finally, those very same consumers are going through a journey themselves to evaluate self. Who am I? What change can I make to the world that I have inherited? A world that I may not have created, but one that I want to change. From a category perspective, Carling was facing tremendous headwinds. For too long, we had stood for an outdated version of masculinity, one rooted in physical strength, in the worker hero, in man as rescuer. And that's an outdated notion. Our competitors were exploring themes of gender equality and self-evaluation. Therefore, we knew we had to look at a deeper version of masculinity, a more nuanced version of what it means to be a man. And we had to understand our society. In South Africa, we relied heavily on a great bit of research by GFK Roper. In South Africa, the values of traditional gender roles, power, status, money, are increasingly outdated. The values on the ascendancy are authenticity and working hard, and Carling has always spoken to these values. But we knew we had to explore a new value set if we were going to become more relevant to younger consumers. And those were the emerging values of self-esteem, my self-worth, who am I in this world? And most importantly, the number one value in South Africa, this notion of protecting this family, this idea that we must make the world safer for loved ones. So we made a conscious decision to move from an outdated version of masculinity that was founded on patriarchy and traditional lines to a new masculinity where we want our consumers to feel that they are purposeful, that they are brave, that they can be the change in this world that they can make. And so we arrived at a new purpose. And the purpose of Carling is simply, we want to transform traditional masculinity and rally a new order of champions. Now, from a technical marketing perspective, at AB InBev, we have values at the core of our brand ladder. It informs all our communication with purpose at the center. And our purpose of rallying a new order of champions means that we want to be known, we want to be famous for representing the best of what it means to be a man. But if we want to represent the best of what it means to be a man in today's society, we had to confront the worst. That is the violence committed against women by men. The violence of gender-based violence in South Africa. Now, as South Africa's biggest man brand, a brand proudly aimed at men, we're not apologetic of that, and, as I said earlier, the largest alcohol brand in the country, where the number one excuse shown for gender-based violence is the abuse of alcohol, it was the obvious starting point. It was also, for the same reasons, the hardest place. But we based it on a powerful insight, which is that as a man, if I don't act against abuse, the cycle will continue and things will end up getting worse. Worse for us as a brand, because we'll be associated with the worst aspects of masculinity, which is the abuse of alcohol, but worse for us as a country. I think we all know the cost of gender-based violence in this country is higher than the cost of providing free education, because it's not only the medical cost to the victims, it's the shame victims feel at being victims and having to take time off work and exit the workplace. So take a look at what we've done. Quickly.
Violence against women and children in South Africa.
About the shocking story
is in the spotlight following some horrific incidents.
Where the high level of violence against...
One was against Kaizer Chiefs, who are turning on the style here.
We are acutely aware of the link between men who abuse alcohol as well as men who sometimes abuse women.
Success in the derby has always been a matter of much importance in South African football. Welcome everyone to our live coverage.
Three deaths a day, it should not be happening. And I think anywhere else in the world, that would be a problem.
It's not a campaign for men, it's a societal campaign.
So we know that we can, as a society of men and women, make a better world for our sons and daughters. This has been an amazing, successful campaign, but it's a campaign for the long run. We're committed to at least 5 years of bringing this message into our communities to change the way our society perceives our product and our role in clamping down on the abuse of alcohol and especially the abuse of women. Our next shift was to redefine what strength means in the world today. We had to shift our brand positioning to reflect this new idea of masculinity. And in doing so, we were able to bring our purpose into our work. And we did that specifically so that we could show people that there is a way forward. Marketing can be instructive in a very creative way. Take a look at where we started, which was to pay tribute to the greatest champions of them all.
Right.
She was a freedom fighter, an icon in my community.
She still uses that mom seatbelt.
She'd always walk on the side of the road of where the traffic was.
The seatbelt is safe, but mom is safer.
A strong black woman.
My mother's nickname for me is Boki. Uputi. She would use that in the most awkward moments on purpose. Boki,
My brother and I went on a road trip with my mom. Of course, mom took the opportunity to be a backseat driver for about 10,000 kilometers.
When I was young, what my mom used to do to cheer me up is she would give me what we in the family call mokwena kisses.
So a while back, we signed my mom up for Instagram, and she browsed past one of my photos, and I asked her, Mom, why don't you like my photos? And she said, no, I do like them.
Ooh, slow down. Okay. You're not indicating.
And I said, but you need to like them, Mom. She says, no, I like them. They're very nice photos.
She would just kiss me all over my head, forehead, ears, everything.
Then I actually had to show her that you have to double tap to actually like the photo.
Every now and then, me and my brother, we'd be driving and we'd just hear like some sniffling from the back. And we'd turn around and my mom would be crying. The fact that we got to do that for her, we got to experience that with her was really special.
The last time she called me that, it was...
The one time I remember that my mom really, really came through for me is when I came out to her.
Yeah, it was the last few hours.
She was very loving and supportive, and she reminded me of who I am, which gave me immense strength and, again, made me the man that I am today.
I'm having a kid soon, in July. I'm naming the kid after her.
I know you've done everything that you can do for us. I have never loved anybody more than I love you.
She brought up a good man.
And that's the beautiful thing about this craft that I've learned so much from Pepe and the other great ECDs we have in this country, is that it's about the feels. You've got to make people feel something. So this was based on an insight, a powerful insight that we put into all our work, is that as a man, the toughest opponent I'm ever going to overcome in my life is myself. And if I overcome my self-doubt, if I understand an idea of self-worth, I can literally achieve anything. To do this, we then released a thematic piece of work that spoke to the man in the mirror. It spoke to the man saying, "Let us be better." Take a watch.
Be a man. What does that mean? Be a man. The truth is, most of us have learned that lesson the wrong way.
The wrong way.
Fathers have taught their sons to be bold, to be brave, to be strong. Bold, brave, strong. The meaning of these words is where it's all gone wrong.
I want to be who I am.
To be bold should mean to stand up for what's right. To be brave, be true to yourself. It's what you do with your strength that makes you strong. The time to make a change is long overdue.
Long overdue.
To being better.
So that our sons grow up to be better too.
Be better too. That's the mission. So we started off with this question, does purpose pay? I think we can see the purpose of purpose. It galvanizes a country, but it also delivers to the bottom line. From a Carling perspective, we are seeing improvements in brand equity driven both by brand relevance and brand desire, especially amongst younger men under the age of 30. We are also seeing quality increase. There was a thing in Twitter, our favorite, about it being Canadian. It's a South African beer, 50 years in this country, and combining a proudly South African product with a message that means something to people, increases perceptions of the brand. And finally, the C-suite is happy because we're selling more, making more revenue and more volume. So in conclusion, I want to deliver three lessons from the coalface of purpose-based marketing. The first lesson is that social enterprise grows the bottom line. We believe that firmly in AB InBev, and I challenge you to go back to your C-suite and say, we've got to do this, because the second lesson is, as we know, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. So there is a temptation to always market short-term revenue-gaining activities, but hold the line. Purpose pays. And finally, it gives your employees, your workforce, a reason to believe. And in this war for talent in this country, that is one of the best reasons of all. And together we can build talent and build marketing in this fine, fine country. Thank you.